Welcome students in the second session of our Unit 3 GeoGebra. In yesterday's lecture, we have seen the basics of GeoGebra, the interface of it, the graphic view, algebraic view, toolbar, input bar. Also, along with that, we have also seen how to save any file and how to open any save file previously done. In today's session, we will see how to construct a rectangle in GeoGebra. And while constructing a rectangle, we will be taking help of the tools such as the perpendicular bisector, parallel, segment, and various other tools. So let's see how to construct a rectangle in GeoGebra. We know that this area on the right hand side is our graphic view. Whatever constructions that we are going to do will be shown on this side. And the one on this side, we can move it, drag it however you want to. This is your algebra mode. You can input your commands here in this way and that will be displayed in your graphic view. And vice versa, whatever you construct in your graphic view, that will be reflected in your algebraic view. Yes. Now, in order to do so, we are constructing a rectangle. So what we will do is, we have this x-axis and y-axis. All right, what we'll do is we'll try to remove the x and y axis. So for that, you have to right click, and after right clicking, we have show axis. You have to click on this, it will be disabled. And if you want, you can again right click and click on show axis, it will be seen. Similarly, we can also cancel the grid and have a blank page in this way. We can get it back with the help of same after right clicking. Now, in order to do so, coming to it, rectangle construction, in order to do so, we will first of all draw a segment. So for segment, we will go on our line tool. This is our toolbar. From this, the third tool, if you see, this is our line tool. From this line tool, we will click on, there are various options. We will click on segment. Now the segment tool is activated. We'll click on one point. Once we have clicked on the one point, if you see in our algebra mode, right over here, you can immediately see the coordinates of the A point, that it lies on 2.5 on x-axis and minus 0.5 on y-axis. This is my A point and we want to line a segment. So, drawing a segment. This is my segment A to B, and immediately if you see, there is a name to it which is F. Next, what we can do is, once we have done that, next thing is that we will draw a perpendicular bisector. For perpendicular bisector, we will require another tool. So we will go here on the toolbar. If you see this fourth icon, click on this one. Now we have various options. From this, we have our perpendicular line. So click on this one first. Now we want a line perpendicular to AB. For that, we will click on AB first. Now we have our perpendicular line and let's move it to fix wherever we want to. So I'm fixing it at B point and click on this B point and then leave it. Next, once we have our perpendicular line, next is we want to draw an next line which is parallel to AB. This is my AB, parallel to AB as in exactly above it. For that, same on the same toolbar, clicking on this, below the perpendicular line, I have parallel line. So I'm clicking first on parallel line. Next, we want a line which is parallel to AB. That is why we will first click on AB. Now we have a line and then we can move it however, wherever we want it. All right. I'm keeping this distance and you have to take your cursor on this line and you have to click on the intersection point. intersection as in where two lines meet together, that is your intersection. So we will click right over here. This is our C point. All right. This is how you have to draw your parallel line as well as your perpendicular line. Now next, we have to draw this line. For this one, again, we will use our perpendicular line tool. So again, going to this perpendicular line tool, click on perpendicular line. And now, since we want perpendicular line, perpendicular to AB, so we'll click on our AB. We have our perpendicular line. And now we will move here at this A point. You have to take your cursor on A point and click there. Now it is fixed. If you see here, we have our rectangle in between. But along with that, we also have now next step is that there's an intersection just like here we have intersections as C. Here also there is an intersection. So for that, we'll go to the point tool, which is the second tool right over here. Clicking on that, here we have options which is intersect. So click on intersect. And now we will click on this intersection point. So this is also labeled as another point D. So we have A, B, C and D. Once we have it, next thing is that we will join these points. Do you see A, B, C, D? These are the points and these form a rectangle. But we have our all straight lines, perpendicular, bisector, parallel lines. We don't want that. We want only our rectangle. For that, we will draw a polygon. We'll go on our tool polygon, which is right over here. Clicking on this, the first option, polygon. And now what we will do is we will join all these points starting from A to B, next C, then we have D, and then coming back to A to complete our rectangle. Once we have done this, next thing is that beforehand we have drawn our parallel lines and perpendicular lines. We will remove them. That is, we will hide them, and so only our rectangle A, B, C and D is visible. For that, what we have to do is we have to go on move tool first. What is the move tool? The first tool that we have here in the toolbar is our move tool. So clicking on this move tool, and now I'm clicking on this line first. Click on this line. Once it is selected, if you see the difference between this line and here is what we got because we have selected this line. Now right click on this line and it is here we have the option show object. We have to click on this so that it is hidden. Now it is removed, it has hidden there. Similarly, we will do it for another lines also. We will hide all these objects. We had one line here also, line segment, so we will also hide that. Now if you see, we have a rectangle A, B, C and D. You can move this however you want. All right. Now this is a rectangle. Once we have constructed a rectangle, we can also calculate its angle, the length of the rectangle, the area as well as the perimeter for it. Now first of all, let's see how to have the measure the angles of this. For that, we have to go on this toolbar angle, click on angle, the first option, and then take your cursor inside the rectangle and click it here. See, now these are our interior angles, all with 90 degrees. All right. Next, we have our line segments. We can have the measurements of this also. For that, again, we'll click here. If you go down, the option of distance or length, we'll click on this tool. And now if I want to calculate what is the length of C and D, I will click on the line length and see. So clicking here, it has immediately given its value, which is 5.74. Since we have already selected that tool, along with this, we will also click on the rest of the lines. So this is the length and breadth of a rectangle. Now, how to calculate the area of this rectangle? We have a tool under the same tools angle. Below this distance or length, we have area. So clicking on area, now we will click, we have selected the tool area. We will click inside the rectangle. See, we have our area of this rectangle as 19.75. Also, we can calculate perimeter of this rectangle. What is the perimeter? Perimeter is the sum of its sides of the rectangle. Alright, so for that, again on the same tools, we will again click on distance or length, but this time we will click inside the rectangle. That is perimeter of ABCD, which is 18.36. What we can do is, these are all our objects and we can easily move them according to our convenience however we want. So we will move them. For that, we will first click on our move tool, which is the first tool from the toolbar. And now let's move each of them. I'm moving this. Similarly, taking this inside. And this is our rectangle. We can also move this rectangle wherever we want to, or else we can increase by clicking on any point. By click on any four of this point and you can left click on it and then you can drag it however you want to. If you want, you can have the large rectangle, or if you want, you can have the smaller rectangle. And we have already calculated the area perimeter. Wherever you drag it, it will change. Accordingly, it will change its size, it will change its area, it will change the parameter of it. I hope how to construct a rectangle is clear with you all. This GeoGebra software is an open source and it is available on your Android as well as iOS devices also. So you can download it on your mobile phones and work through it. Now, yesterday only we have seen how to save a file. So for that, on the main menu, that is on the right hand side, we'll click here and we will save this file. Clicking on save and naming it, we'll give the name rectangle.ggb is the file extension. So saving it here and giving the name rectangle. All right. And if we want a new file, again similarly click on new. We have a new file. I hope this is clear with you all.